The next talk will be by Charles and Lucas about attracting and retaining new contributors. Give a very warm welcome applause.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So we are going to present here what we have been doing for some years in Brazil and try to bring some insights that we got building our local community. So the talk's called Attracting and Retaining New Contributors, insight from us in Brazil. And so let's get started.
Yeah, so here is the little agenda of what we are going to talk about today. We are going to do a brief introduction of ourselves and our local community. Then we are going to talk a little bit about the problems that we have faced these past few years. And then we are going to move to some solutions that we have devised that are things that it made our contribution process a lot better. And then we are going to try to talk some insights from our local community that may be good for more people than only our Brazilian community. And then also we have some open questions that we couldn't answer, but maybe you guys can help us. So let's move on to the introduction.
Right, so who we are. So as Fonda said, I'm Lucas Kanashiro. I'm a software engineer from Brasília, Brazil. I'm a Debian developer since 2016. I'm also Ubuntu core developer for 3 or 4 years. Nowadays I'm working on Ubuntu server, doing distro work at Canonical, and like I've been involved with outreach related stuff in Debian and Ubuntu local communities, both of them, and that's why I'm here.
So yeah, you must have seen on the first slide that I'm Carlos Henrique Lima Melara, but everybody calls me Charles, so that is the name that I go by in Debian. I'm a computer engineer. My interests are mainly InfoSec and operating systems, so yeah, Debian fits perfectly. I've also become recently a Debian developer, and on my day job I'm working with embedded systems at an embedded system company called Toradex. That's it for me.
And we are going to start talking about who we are. In Brazil, we started as a local community in Brasília, which is the capital of Brazil, right in the middle of the country. There, many years ago, I would say at 8, 9 years ago, not exactly. Yeah, I was there. I became a Debian developer. I was there alone doing Debian stuff. No one else was doing anything. And I said, why not try to bring more people to the community? I did many attempts with the help of one of my ex-professors in the University of Brasília. We organized events, install fest, stuff like that. It worked pretty nice, but in the end, we were not able to engage people. And then we did that multiple times, and we wouldn't be able to attract and retain people. After some time, we tried to get more people. I was a mentor in a couple of GSOC projects with people from that university. And finally, I was able to find some students that would help me to grow this community there. And my idea always was to bring people to actually help with Debian development, not just Debian users. Like in Brazil, we have a bunch of users group, many people interested on that. But we at the time, we didn't have many people contributing with technical things, and that was my goal. I managed to find those students. We organized the events, and then when Kips was starting to work pretty well, we were having meetings every month, I think, together with GNU Linux user group there. Then pandemics came, we stopped everything, and then after a couple of months after the pandemics, we started to do online meetings, and that's when things started to get some traction. We managed to, I think mostly because we were able to also bring people from other cities, not just Brasília. So we actually started to contribute. We have many people contributing nowadays. For instance, we have 4 DDs already in our group. We have 5 DMs, and every semester we have at least one more very active contributor in our city. We have partnership with the university, also other events in Brazil. So that's been pretty great. Nowadays we have around 16 active, very active contributors. We will talk more about what we are doing to reach that. Here at the top, you can see one picture from our mini DebConf earlier this year in Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais, Brazil. Here we had around 225 attendees. Thanks, Paulo, for organizing this conference for us. So you can see that our community in Brazil is way bigger than I would say some other countries. And down here you can see a picture from all the Brazilians who attended last year's DebConf. So we are present in all those events. We are always trying to promote what we are doing and trying to help others to also improve what we are doing.
Cool, so now we need some help from the audience. I have some questions for you, so you can raise your hand if that's the answer is yes. So how many of you are Debian developers here? Okay, quite a few, cool. And Debian maintainers, do we have any? Cool, we have 2. Okay, so, and how many of you have a striving local community where you are living? Only 1, 2, okay, 3, okay, nice. Well, that was the problem we tried to solve. As Kanashiro said, back when he started contributing, there wasn't a big striving community in Brasília, but he made it work. And we did it also in Brazil as a general thing. And we are here trying to answer these two questions that we had and that we think it's the most problematic thing to start a new local community. The very first thing is how we can lower the barrier for newcomers to start contributing, because this is the way that we can have more contributors. But okay, you start with someone, they are contributing to Debian. How can you retain these contributors to become long-term contributors, to become DMs, to become DDs? How can we do it? So our main goal here is to say what we did to get that, to make these 2 things a reality. And so we should start with the problems that we identified on the community and how we can the very things that were very difficult for us and for newcomers.
Okay, so let's start with some problems that we identified. The first one, I think, is the consensus, for most of the community, is documentation for newcomers. Sometimes we do have that, but it's spread in different places. It's hard for them to find it. Other teams, we don't even have a documentation, so that's for sure a barrier for them to start contributing. Another issue that we identified, with our members there, is that we have too many tools to do the same thing. So if you search for tools to do Debian packaging, you'll find many different ways. And each Debian developer, each Debian contributor will do it in a different way. We have multiple workflows to do the same thing. And that's for sure hard for a newcomer who doesn't know what he will do. And can you even imagine which tool he will use? So that's for sure another issue. Communication via mailing lists and RC. We have interacting mostly with students, young people. I know that those things work pretty well for most of the Debian community, but for sure, the new generation, that does not work well. If you want to bring those new people to the project, we need to work around some way. Of course, we will not change everything, because the community works like that, but for sure, we need to find a way to lower this barrier. The 4th topic is more related to the Brazilian community. English is not easy for most of us. I think for most of Europeans, North Americans, English is not that a big deal. Mostly everyone speaks English, but I would say for the South Hemisphere, I don't know, it's hard, not everyone speaks English, all our documentation is in English. How can we reach these people? If you want diversity in our project, if you want those people coming in and helping us to build our distribution, we do need to overcome that. Another thing is that people are shy to ask for help. Imagine you are new, you are Debian is a huge project, many different things. Operating system is complex by itself. how can I start? How can I start contributing, you know? I don't know the people who I need to ask. If I find the people that I want to talk about, like, ask something, maybe I can imagine that, oh, these people, like, they are too important, they are doing things, like real things, so I will not bother them. So people are shy. They don't want to even ask us about things. So that's a problem that we identified. The other thing, like the technical language that we use, like we have a bunch of letters that means things like NMUs, FTBFSs, blah, blah, blah. It's hard for them to understand what we are saying. That's another thing it's a problem when you're trying to bring new people. All of these, keep in mind that we are more talking about Debian packaging, mostly. Charles will keep going.
Yeah, so the list is long, so let's go to part 2. You are a newcomer, right? You are coming to the project, and I'm pretty sure that you know Git, you know how to do rebases, you also know how to package stuff, you know how operating systems work, you have a pretty good idea how to handle the command line, so, right? You are a newcomer, you know everything. It's like a job advertisement. You need to know 5, 10 tools, and you have to be pretty good at those to get the job. Yeah, no, that's not true. Usually when newcomers are coming to the project, they have a pretty loose sense of what computing is and how to deal with the command line interface, right? Mostly they are coming from Windows, and so they know how to point and click at stuff, but they don't know how to tell the computer to actually do stuff. And also, as we said, we have too many tools. It's intimidating. People coming, they don't know everything. They don't know how to build a package. So to work on that, then you have to know a lot of stuff already. So it's difficult for newcomers to overcome that. And also, we have too many tools. We have too many ways to do things. So we have a lot of different workflows that one can use to build packages, to submit packages to Debian. Should I use Salsa? Should I use Mentor? Should I send a mail to the maintainer with a diff? How can I do that? So too many tools, too many workflows, too many processes. It's kind of difficult and intimidating for newcomers. But also, we have been successful to attracting newcomers. I have to say that it's not that easy, and we have done it. But then the question is, how can we make these guys long-term contributors? You know, after they do some packaging, they fix a QA, fix a bug. How can we tell them, okay, now that you did it, you can keep doing it? Should they become a maintainer? Should they have some emotional attachment to the packages that they are doing? What else? Okay, so it's difficult to make this transition from a first-time contributor to a long-term one. And also, we've seen it with DMs stuff, right? People do a lot of work. They know how to package. They know how to do stuff. They know how to submit, fix bugs, submit packages to Debian. They are well-versed on that. The command line, Git, the put, they know how to do it, and we are confident that they can become a maintainer, a Debian maintainer. So we advocate for them. And now what? They are DMs, they have upload permissions for their packages, and they are kind of stuck in there, right? So it's a problem that we've seen recently and we've discussed here. We sat down 2 days ago or yesterday, I don't know, to talk about it. How to don't let this DM to become stale, just stop and doing some minor things, but not reaching out to more places in the project. So there's a problem too that we have faced. And actually, the last thing is a thing that Kanashiro talks a lot about. How can we prove the visibility of our local groups? Because okay, it's mostly okay for us because we are doing packaging, so we have statistics about how many packages we have uploaded. And what about the community work that we have done? The mini DebConfs, or micro DebConfs, I don't know, everything. And these small things that we do that is important for our community, but maybe we don't have some statistics or uploads for showing that we are doing that. So, okay, having all that in mind, let's try to see some solutions that we have used and that seem to work. it's been like for 4 or 5 years that we are trying these things, and so this is pretty much what we are using now, and that it seems to work for us.
Okay, the first thing here is about documentation. As I mentioned before, this is a big deal for newcomers. We have our own instance of a wiki. So we are using wiki.js. I know we should have been using like wiki.debian.org, but unfortunately we have been facing some issues with Brazilians and the wiki, the official wiki. For instance, we have a bunch of IP address blocked in Brazil. It's hard for them to access it, to create accounts. We need to ping people to unblock IP addresses. Another thing is like it's not too modern. So this one is a modern wiki. So we can edit things in Markdown. Like you can see things side by side and edit it like easily. So those are some things that with this wiki we can like work better. At least the members of our local community can work better. So we decided to create this instance. Everything here is in Portuguese because our target is the Brazilian community. We have some basic tutorials, for instance, how to set up your local environment to do packaging, what is the structure of a Debian source package, how to use sbuild, git build package, blah, 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 a bunch of things that we use. Everything in Portuguese, so that's very accessible for everyone. And yeah, we also have videos that previous conference that we presented things, previous DebConfs, mini DebConfs, online events that we organize, whatever. Yeah, we have the definition of our process to contribution. Everything is there. Everything is in Portuguese. Everyone can edit easily. If someone comes to us and the person goes through the process, oh, I didn't understand anything, we just say, okay, go there and edit yourself. It's straightforward, right? You just click a button, you edit in one side, you can see the result in the other side, everything's fine. So with this wiki, we were able to partially fix the issues that we identified, which was documentation for newcomers. We have everything there, at least through a kickoff. And also we fixed the English language barrier. I know we could translate things there in the official documentation, but for us, at least for our community, this was easier and this works better for now. Of course, there's room for improvement. We could discuss, I know that there is some interest in updating wiki.debian.org to something more modern, but in the way it is, that's what we have, and it has been working fine for us so far.
Now, we know we have so many tools, but for a newcomer, it's way, way better if they have only a small set of tools that they need to learn. And so that's what we're trying to do. So we do have a very opinionated set of tools that we use. They are also tools that we use on our regular packaging ourselves. So it's easier for us to review stuff and make sure that everything is okay before uploading. So our main tools used are sbuild for building the package and git build package to do the maintenance, having everything set up, working with patches, and pushing to salsa. So we are following DEP14 for the branch naming scheme, so it's easier for us to review and do everything on a salsa-based workflow, which is pretty good because we also have a bot to send the review comments to our Matrix channel. So people that are not actually doing the review or other contributors can see the review and read it and understand why people are asking for changes, so they also can learn from it. Let's be clear, this is our standard and the standard we use in our community, so if someone approaches us to start learning, we are going to say, look, there's many ways to do things in Debian, but if you want to learn with us, this is our set of tools and our standards. And so they can learn, and then if they want to use something different, they can feel free. But for newcomers, this is very easy. They have only to learn 2 tools and Git, so it's manageable. So we can fix the too many tools problem and the workflow and process. So we have a very, very detailed workflow that we are going to show a bit later. So it's pretty easy for newcomers.
Right. The other issue that we mentioned is communication. So again, how we are lowering the barrier, right, of contributions. It's like using modern stuff, basically. And we know that's hard to make big changes in the Debian project, so we are doing something in our local community. Basically, we identified the issues with instant messaging. So we know that we use IRC in Debian for this type of communication. So IRC is the Debian way of do that. In our local community there, we noticed that young people, they do use Telegram for everything. So we said, okay, how can we make them move, right? It's not easy to leave Telegram and just move to IRC. People will not do that. So the way to do this was creating bridges. So we have a bridge that connects our channel on IRC, Matrix, and Telegram. So people can join whatever they want with the client they want, and everyone will be there discussing things. After that, we also provided a service for our members, which is an IRC web client plus bouncer called Convos. So here's a print screen. So the main issue with IRC for many of our users is basically when you log out, you lose all the messages. So they say, oh, I sent a message, I got a reply, but I logged out, so I don't know what they said. So with this, we fixed this issue for some of our users. So here we would fix the communication issue that we have with these more young people, and also a long-term involvement, because they can track everything that we're doing. As Charles mentions, we have a bot, so every review comment that we add to any of those merge requests that review, it will be posted to our chat, so they can track everything and learn from others. So that's pretty good.
Another note that Kanashiro briefly touched on it, but we are always trying to make people do the transition from Telegram and proprietary tools to free tools, free as in free speech, not free beer. So we always try to tell people, okay, you are using Telegram, but you see that there are messages coming from other places. You know, there is this pretty cool thing called Matrix that you can use, or maybe if you are friends with the CLI, you can use IRC. And so we are always trying to convince people to move from Telegram to IRC or Matrix. And it's a long way, but I think we are managing that. And also we can do it by to keep frequently in touch. So we have our weekly online meetings at Jitsi. Mostly, I think we are using Debian Social Jitsi. I'm not sure, but I think so.
When it's broken, we use something.
Yeah.
We try to use.
And so we have these calls in Portuguese, so people can express themselves in a very easy way for them. It's usually pretty simple to explain things in Portuguese for us Brazilians, right? It's our mother tongue. But usually the first hour and a half, it's pretty, oh, I had this problem, I don't know how to solve it. And then we try to help people, we try to answer questions. It's much more focused on packaging and problems and developing ourselves. But then after that 1.5 or 2 hours, we start to just, it becomes a happy hour. So we're just talking some trash and complaining about stuff. And so we've seen that this makes these newcomers to feel more easy, right? They look at us and they see, they are just people like us. And so that has been pretty helpful to maintain these newcomers and to keep them in touch with us. It was pretty good.
Yeah, basically that. So strength bonding among members, that's something that we need to do if you want to build this feeling of a community, right? So that's the way that we do, because if we just talk about technical things, it's fine, okay, it's what we want to do. But if we want to build this community feeling, we need to strengthen our bondings, right? So that's our goal here.
One thing that we've seen is that we try to do every week without skipping it, because then if we start skipping things, people will not come and say, yeah, maybe they won't be there. So we try to be every week there. So last Thursday, actually Friday here, the Debian Brazilian community joined the call. Like, it was Friday at 7 a.m. here, Thursday 7 p.m. in Brazil. So we always try to keep the meetings going, even if we are not in Brazil and doing some other stuff, but we try to be there.
Right. So another thing that we have, we try to have a well-defined package contribution process. Like, we noticed that we at the beginning we try to tell people, go to Debian mentors, try to get your package sponsored, but then people like, oh, I need to go to the mailing list, I need to learn another tool like DebConf to upload my package, I need to sign my package, a bunch of things that they don't know. So it raised the bar, right? More things to learn, more process. So we noticed that this was a barrier. So what we did, we are starting to use salsa for everything. So let's use salsa because most of the people that were interacting, they were developers. So they are used to this kind of workflow using GitHub, GitLab, and those web hosting tools. So let's move away from what we do regularly in Debian, and let's use salsa. We use boards there, we use issues, we have our own group. So whenever you want to start to work on a package, you create an issue on salsa, you get someone to review it for you, you will find an uploader. So here is kind of the process that we use. So it's pretty straightforward. You choose a package. If you don't know what you choose, someone will recommend you a package. You create an issue in our salsa Git repo. You do the work, the development work. When it's done, of course, you may need some help. You chat with us in our chat, whatever. You open a merge request. It will be reviewed by someone more experienced. Maybe they will request change, you will do it again, and when it's ready, it will be uploaded to the archive. We close everything. It's good because we can have statistics using the GitLab API. So this has been proven to be pretty good, at least for our contributors in Brazil. So this is the way, more or less, that we are working. So we have a board, so we have lanes for all of these, and we can track. We try to give feedback as soon as we can, not let them waiting for weeks or months to get a review. That's something that sometimes happens in Debian mentors. So that's the way that we do things. And it's pretty good. And for developers, at least, this is the best workflow, in my opinion. So with that, we solved kind of some workflow issues and process that we faced with those new contributors. And also, people that are shy to ask for help, it's harder for them to go to a mailing list in a different language, which is English, ask things that they don't know. It's better for them to speak in Portuguese with a Brazilian, in a more informal way. So that proved to be way better for us, and we got a bunch of new people contributing with this.
And using GitLab also, or Salsa, our own instance, it's easy because we can assign tags to each issue, and so we can track these changes from creation of the issue, being worked on, going to review, and mainly we can do it all by mail. So at least I think Kanashiro too, we use mail to track this, although people regularly use the issue board or the web client. I know that Sergio DJ, he uses Emacs, and he uses a plugin inside Emacs to move the tags and move stuff. So whatever, you don't need to use the web client, you can just use mail. And we can do the reviews, check the reviews, everything. And it's also going to our matrix channel, so we can be aware of what other people are doing. So yeah, it's pretty nice. So, okay, usually here, when someone opens an update, a merge request, and goes to a mentor, when it's a newcomer, we leave it to any contributor, NDD or DM to review stuff. But we also said that maybe it's not that easy for when someone becomes a DM to keep contributing. So we developed this mentorship program that is more like 101. So we assign a Debian developer to a DM, and they can start exploring stuff for the DM to work. So that makes it easier for DMs to keep contributing to Debian and not being just work on 1 or 2 or 3 packages that they maintain. So this is a kind of a new thing for us. We've just discussed this year here at DebConf, an informal BOF, I would say. But also we don't want to like keep in just the 101 because, okay, it's nice because you can discuss with your mentor the things you like and what you want to contribute to. And you establish a closer relation, and it's good also for the NM process because this DD can advocate for you. But you are depending on one person to be available to answer you and to talk to you. So it's like a mixed program because we also want to use our group to have these discussions and to share knowledge because usually the questions asked are not easy to answer. So if we do as a group discussion, we can share this knowledge with everyone in there. Even the newcomers, they can read something and understand something new for them. So with that, we get faster responses. We have more input from different people because, Debian, many ways to do the same thing. And so this can solve that problem with DMs transitioning to DDs, so make them more active in the community and the Debian project. And also helps for people that are shy to ask for help because now you have one person that you can talk to and not the whole group, so it's easier. And so that mentorship program is a kind of new thing for us. And let's see the insights now that maybe you all can use in your local communities.
Let's go a bit faster. Okay, so one idea that we have is setting up virtual environments for local groups. I think what we did, we set up a bunch of different tools that helped us a lot. And there is no easy way for a local community to do that. We have many people, we are able to manage and host all those services by ourselves. But maybe there's some local communities that don't have many people or resources to do that. So it will be awesome if in Debian we could, someone could raise a hand and say, I want to create my local community. Okay, so Debian can go there and instantiate this new virtual environment for this local community. So here is your tools, all the tools that you need. You have this wiki area just for you. You have this IRC bouncer that you can use in your community. You have all of that storage, a way to generate statistics for your local community. So that's, I think, something that I have in mind that will be great to have for all the local groups in Debian. An easy way to do all of this for any local community. Yeah.
So, Gen Z, right? They like 5-minute stuff. 5 minutes, it's too much. So we are trying to make some short videos explaining stuff and try to keep down to 4 or 3 minutes so people like just documenting the ways to do things and also doing some brief facts or frequently asked questions I have this, how can I do that on the packaging? Yeah, that's the answer. It's a video, you can go through it, it's easy. This is something that Paulo did on the Portuguese localization team, and we've seen some good feedback about it, and we are trying to do it also for packaging. So yeah, it's Gen Z. 1 minute is too much. Yeah, that's basically it. But it seems to work pretty well.
And the other thing that we're planning to do is a packaging video course, which is great. We want to go from scratch until you know mostly all the basic things that you need to know about packaging. So we want to do that, of course, Debian packaging. Our goal is initially to do it in Portuguese. We kind of have something like that, but we want to use our set of tools and process that we just presented. In Brazil, we already have it. It's really good. Heriberto, who is a DD there, it has helped us a lot, but we want to revamp that, and we want to make it freely available on PeerTube and make it and maybe in the future do it the same thing in English, of course. So that's something that's in our plans.
So now let's move on to some open questions that, we don't have answer for everything. Usually we don't have answer to many things. So one of the questions is the generalization of our process. So we have people here from different local communities. So what do you think about this? Is this going to probably work for you or not? And what do you think about this mentorship process? Can we do it? And so is this problem, the English problem and all the other problems that we've showed, is it just a Brazilian thing, or do you feel it for you too?
So I'm looking at this from a packaging team perspective, and I think like the idea of having regular calls is really good, but it's really hard to do for teams that are distributed. Like it really works well for a local community where everyone is on similar time zones. You've had to wake up at 6 a.m. to do your call, so you realize that, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the mentoring through GitLab issues is a really good idea. It also helps keep track of what's going on and what's not. Yeah.
The
Good
idea
work.
of the video course is basically to get it recorded. So it's not that you need to attend it live, but having something recorded.
Yeah, so feel free to jump in and tell us things.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, we have there.
Yeah.
One.
That's just a comment on the time zone thing, because I think it's interesting. And in this case specifically, we have people from Canada, and I joined from Ireland as well. So we managed to find a time that works for everyone. It's not perfect because I go to sleep at 3 a.m. every Friday pretty much because of this, but it works.
And also, Samuel usually joins early. He also goes late too, but usually it's more like 7 p.m. on the dot. He's in there. And then we can join from Brazil, that it's a bit earlier for us. We can join a bit late and stay from our time. And also Sergio is in Canada. He also joins and stay for long. So.
Quick question. Could you show the link of the wiki?
The link of the wiki, yes.
It's wiki.debianbsb.org.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pode seguir. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Yes. More a bit. Okay. There we go.
So another thing that we have been discussing is how to promote local groups' work, right? As Charles said, there is no way to easy way to give visibility to that. So what we have been discussing is we want to do more frequent blog posts and make it available in planet.debian.org. That for sure would increase at least some people from the community will be able to at least see what we are doing. But something that we've been discussing with Thiago here, who is working on contributors.debian.org, is to also create data sources that we can add data about organizing events there, also attending local groups meetings, stuff like that. Also this type of thing that we do not track. So for instance, when you apply to become a member of the project, or even if you want a bursary for DebConf, people will be able to find what you're doing instead of just trying to search on the internet and see if maybe it will not be easy to find this kind of information, right? So that's something that we have been discussing. I don't know if someone else has an idea that could help us with this. That will be welcome.
Yeah. Another thing that is the mentorship program that we've been talking about. So how can give more exposure for our contributors to other places in Debian? So yeah, this is the last one. So so maybe we think that interacting with non-Brazilian DDs is also good. So we always try to push people to mentors after some time, after they have a pretty good knowledge of the tools. And also to try to ask them to do more complex work, maybe some auto-package test thing, and work on more complex packages is also a thing that we are intending to do. But that's a new thing for us, so yeah.
That's it.
I guess that's it for us.
Yeah, we will be here around if you have any question, whatever. Just got in touch with us. Thank you.
Do you have time for
Sorry,
questions?
I did work on all the work. Sorry.
Thanks for the very useful insight. I hope we can learn globally from this experience. And as you mentioned, contributors, Debian.org, this will be the next talk in 20 minutes in here. So enjoy the break and thanks for being with us.